Facebook. It's a great way to stay in touch with family and friends, but for some people, the online social networking site can become a downright addiction. How do you know when you've crossed the line, and what can you do to fix it? CNN senior medical correspondent is here with this week's Empowered Patient. I don't know, I say turn off the computer.
Right, but some people can't.
Okay.
I mean, Heidi, I've got to tell you about a woman who I talked to for this story. She's 51 years old, single mother of a 12-year-old girl, and her daughter came down and said, "Mommy, I need help with my homework." And she said, "I'm on the computer now." She was on Facebook and she couldn't get off. Daughter went upstairs to her bedroom, sent her mom an email saying, "Hey, I need your help," but she never got the email because she was on Facebook. She spends 20 hours a week on Facebook. She says half for work and half for fun. So 10 hours just to communicate with her Facebook friends. And she knows that she's crossed the line, but she can't just turn off the computer. She says she can't do it.
Wow. All right. So you do have some ways, like particularly 5 ways that you can help people who are feeling like maybe I'm just playing on there too much.
Right. Because, you know, of course, the vast majority of people on Facebook are doing just fine, and it's a wonderful addition to their life.
It's like the video games we talked about yesterday.
Right. Exactly. It's very similar. So for most people, it's fine. But how do you know when you've crossed the line? So here are the top 5 reasons, starting with 5. You lose sleep over Facebook. If you're up at 2 in the morning, that's a problem. It means that you're not functioning very well the next day. 4, if you spend more than an hour a day on Facebook, now that's not a hard and fast amount of time, but the psychologist I talked to said, who needs more than an hour a day on this? That may be a sign you're sort of going overboard. You become obsessed with old loves. Now, everyone I know who's on Facebook, including me, I met up with people I haven't seen since 1972, okay?
Old boyfriends?
No, just old friends, old boyfriends. They haven't surfaced yet. I don't know why. Maybe they don't want to be my friend.
Well, maybe they will now.
Oh, boy. So, but if you link up with someone who was your, 9th grade girlfriend, and you find yourself talking to them a lot and becoming obsessed, that could be a problem. You should be obsessed with the person you're married to, not the person who you loved in 1973. Okay, you ignore work. Now, all of us, I guess I shouldn't implicate myself. Everybody spends time online a little bit to avoid work. There's nothing wrong with that. But if over and over again you find yourself just wanting to be in the Facebook world, that's a problem if you're ignoring your work. Number 1, the thought of going off Facebook puts you in a cold sweat.
Oh, come on.
The woman I talked to, she said her therapist told her to get off Facebook. She could get off of it for a day, but she said, "Elizabeth, I couldn't do it for a whole weekend." She said, I just can't do it. She gets so much pleasure out of communicating with people on Facebook, and part of it is because her own life has some issues. But if you want to learn more about this, we talked to some psychologists. You want to go to cnnhealth.com right now. Are you a Facebook addict? cnnhealth.com.
Isn't it good, though, to some extent? And I think you hit the nail on the head from what I'm understanding anyway. If you have some issues with your life, outside of this, then this could possibly be difficult for you to get away from Facebook. Because a lot of people say, well, hey, it's great to be able to connect with people in your past.
It is great to connect, and here's where you draw the line, where Facebook world becomes a happier place for you than the real world. Because on Facebook, nobody has any problems. You're not paying bills. You're not fighting with your spouse about who's going to change the diapers or do the dishes. Everyone seems quite lovely. And so it might seem to be a preferable place to live compared to the real world, where you are fighting with your spouse or with your children.
Definitely. All right, well, interesting topic.